Hello again, this is PC Delta Link, back with more of our Enigmatica 2 Let's Play Normal Mode, and this is episode, we'll call it 100.5. So this is going to be the short little supplemental video to go with the last episode I just put out, and this is going to go into two things primarily, and we'll look at a couple other minor things as well. Let's see here, most of my stuff from that is in this chest here. Briefly, we're going to go into the framed stuff real quick before I get into some of the deeper things we're going to look into today, like the Menril and the elevators. So, yeah, I'll go through a couple of these. Actually, I don't... Well, we'll keep them anyway. So, let's see here. Yeah, here we go. So, the steel ladder that we use, or the metal ladder from Immersive Engineering we used, this requires some rods of some kind. You can use a couple different ones, of course. We just went ahead and used steel, since that seemed to be the easiest, because it just takes 3 steel ingots to get 4 of the rods, and then, of course, you can use the rods to make the ladder. So, pretty cheap. We didn't need too much of that, because it was just used in that one spot in the nuclear craft room. So that wasn't too bad. The framed pieces that we used, we haven't done a whole lot of framed work, but I think we've briefly gone over this, but not for the fences, I don't think. So for the fence recipe, we just have sticks again, and then framed blocks, which framed blocks are just sticks, and that gets you 2 of them. You can also break down staircases back into framed blocks if you want as well. For the slants, it's just 2 framed blocks, gets you 4 of them, which is really nice. And then for the slabs, 3 framed blocks gets you 3 of them, so also really nice. And wrong one. Let me grab, yeah, sure, we'll just grab a couple of those tiles right there. So for the framed slants, these things can kind of be placed, if you're trying to do like angled stuff, these things can kind of be placed like staircases, how you can, angle them left, right, up, down, however you want. Can I have one more? Yeah, there we go. I'll just grab all 3. So yeah, they can be angled whatever direction you guys want, and then if you're trying to build something that, like, actually looks like a slanted object, that's going to require you to be positioned a little bit better along the... Be more careful when you're trying to actually place them, so... Yeah, kind of like that. And it's very easy when you're doing this, let me break this back, to, like, do something like that by accident instead. But if so, just knock it out and then throw it back. Alright, so... Now, something worth knowing here is that while these appear slanted, and you just take your material and, of course, right-click it on there, but while these appear slanted, they are still a single solid block. You'll see vaguely the outline here. The little black lines outlining the whole block. So yeah, you can't like fit another block next to it. You can't put like a second slant next to it, as nice as that would be. It still takes up that full block down there. So yeah, these are still one block, even though they appear to be half blocks. So keep that in mind. And of course, you get any of your blocks back that you used to like color them when you get done. And the fence is pretty straightforward, just like the other one. What I used for the fence downstairs, the first one I'd use the... Oh, where's our caution blocks? Here they are. Yeah, our factory caution blocks, caution frame plates, yeah. That was the first one I used. Which, let me... And then for the second one that we had used, I need... Where's our little guys at? Here they are. I believe for the actual nuclear craft reactor room downstairs, we were using... Oh, there it is. This. Yeah. And this is just laboratory block again, small steel. And of course, laboratory blocks, super cheap. Just nether quartz and 8 stone. Gets you 8 of them, and then you can just use your chisel to change them into whatever shape you want. Same with the factory blocks. Factory blocks are also super cheap. There we go. So I think I've briefly gone into factory blocks before, but I'll go ahead and grab one of them. Yeah, it's just 4 stone and 4 iron gets you 32 of them. So yeah, definitely not a problem to afford it. And there's lots of choices you can use with your chisel to change them into a different shape. Whatever you happen to want. Right, so that's all we're going to cover on that. Oh, that's marble. That's all we're going to cover on that for now. Let me grab... We're going to need some of these later. And, yeah, some of this. I'll take all that. Alright, so let's move on to Menril. Menril is what we had used in our AE room downstairs, the little lighter blue texture right there. And this comes from special trees out in the world. So let me see if I can find... Oh yeah, I left this one for that purpose. So you can see them from pretty good distance away. This is a Menril tree. It's got very pretty light blue colored leaves. It's from the mod Integrated Dynamics, which I know basically nothing about Integrated Dynamics. I wasn't even planning on going into that mod in this playthrough. Still not planning to do anything. But yeah, these are the Menril trees. I'll go ahead and you just take your axe, and can cut it down. And just like... There we go. Oh, there's still some extra up here. Yeah, you got enriched mineral wood, which has, like, berries in it, and... There we go. There it goes. Once we got all the wood out. And it can drop saplings and the berries. Berries are a little bit of a food source, of course. You can eat them. And you can also use them to make a couple different things from the mod itself. Like a Menril torch, for instance. I might do a small episode on this at some point. I don't know. And then, of course, saplings to replant. And the Menril woods, all you really need to get this stuff, but you're going to need to do some slightly workaround methods to actually get the Menril. Because normally, what it lists to use to get Menril is actually different, like, oh, where? Here, let me just do this. Our goal is to get this block of crystallized Menril, which you can get crystallized Menril chunks from... They can rarely drop when you're cutting down the tree. But the primary way you're going to get them is from breaking down blocks of crystallized Menril. But the problem is, you either need a drying basin or some other things from the mod itself, or the easiest method I found, casting using the Tinker's smeltery. So, in order to get that, you need Menril resin. Excuse me, gosh, frog in my throat. Now, there's a couple different ways to get that, but the easiest way to get it that I found for me was using a squeezer from forestry. And this breaks down 1 log into 1 bucket worth of resin, which is perfect. And a small chance to give you an extra chunk while you're at it. To make the squeezer, this is pretty cheap actually. You just need 6 tin, 2 glass of any kind, and then the sturdy casing. Sturdy casing is, again, 8 bronze in a circle. So, we have this set up right here. And then once you do this, you just gotta take your block of mineral wood and throw it in here. And it'll break down. And we'll see if we get... Okay, we didn't get a crystallized chunk, but that's okay. So we have 2 buckets worth in here now. We already had 1 bucket in there. Let me grab a bucket, because I don't have one on me. Oh, I don't even have one made. Make a few of those. Have those ready for me in case I need them for later. There we go. I just need 1, really. Then you can just right-click that to grab out the resin. Now, to get items into the Tinker's smeltery that you're not usually you're not usually putting liquids into this thing. You're normally just dropping, like, solid blocks into this space here. You can see we actually have a little bit of resin in here already. So in order to get liquids back into here, you need a Seared Drain. And there's a backside to the Seared Drain you're going to need to have. Let me grab this. We're going to need it. So, normally our Seared Drains are like the ones down here. We have just the smaller opening on it, and then the seared faucet to, like, pour it into the casting table or casting basin. But in this case, we need this back part of it, the part that's like the bigger opening on it. And in order to get that side to show where you want, it's just how you place the block. What direction you're facing when you place the block determines what side faces where. So just play around with it until you got this facing the correct direction. You can have it out here or here, either one. And then we just need a tank. In this case, we're using our portable tank. And then just a pipe connected to the seared drain. So set this to extract from the tank, and then we're just going to drop our resin in there. And there it goes. So you can see we already had one block in here. Now we have 2 blocks worth, because one bucket of this stuff makes 1 block. So all we have to do is come over here to our casting basins and pour it in. And this stuff sets up pretty quick. You don't have to wait for long once it actually pours it all in. And there we go. 2 blocks of crystallized Menril. And you can break that down to the chunks if you need to, or you can just, at this point, you can also get your crystallized Menril bricks once you get enough of this, and then, of course, you can use your chisel. So yeah, it's not too difficult to get. We'll go and I'm just going to throw these in the AE system because I really don't need to have these handy right now. Yeah, that shows you how to get a hold of those. Alright, the next thing we're going to look at, and the thing that's going to be a little bit trickier to get into, is how I created and how the elevator works for the nuclear craft area. Because this goes into a mod that we haven't covered yet, the RFTools mod. We've only very briefly touched on this sometimes during this playthrough. And we will have a more full episode of RFTools in time. I might need a little bit of this. But for right now, we just don't have a use for it. Not yet. So we'll go outside for this, but I will change it to probably daytime just to, well, now we'll keep it nice. It's nice out here. Oh wait, I forgot. I gotta show you guys the recipes for stuff. Alright, so the first thing we're gonna need for the RFTools, oh, let me pull up the RFTools mod as well. We're going to need a couple different items. The first thing we're going to need is, of course, the machine frame. We're going to need a few of these because this is required to make a couple of blocks we need. So we've got that set up right here. So just 4 iron, 1 in each corner, and then 2 lapis top and bottom, and then 2 gold, or I say 2 because I have 2 set up here to be crafted, but it's 1. 1 lapis on the top, 1 on the bottom, 1 gold nugget on the left, and 1 on the right. And that gets you the machine frame. The next thing we're going to create is the elevator. Using these machine frames, we just need the machine frame in the middle, then redstone up and down each side of the table, an ender pearl on the top, and then a redstone torch on the bottom. And that gets you an elevator. So we'll go ahead and grab both of those. Next thing we're going to need is a screen. So the screen's going to require a couple things. First thing we're going to need is this machine base. Now this is also really cheap. Just 3 stone and 3 gold nuggets will get you a machine base. We're going to need 2 of these, so we'll grab 2. And then to get the screen, we need to just take this machine base, put it in the middle, and we'll get iron ingots along the bottom, and then 5 glass surrounding the top of the rest of the recipe, and that gets you a screen. And we'll also need 2 of those. Ooh, yeah. And the last thing we need is a screen controller. So this is used to actually control and power the screens. The screens you don't have to connect any power cables to. But this requires a machine frame, 4 redstone, 3 glass, and an ender pearl, with the machine frame in the middle. And that gets you the screen controller. So again, nothing too expensive for all this stuff. It's just something you gotta kind of have available. Oh, and the last thing we need is an elevator button module. This is required to use on the screen so that you can actually control the elevator. And this requires 3 buttons, 2 redstone, an iron ingot, and an ink sac, or any other applicable black dye, whatever you want. Ink sacs are just the easiest. Button, of course, is just a piece of stone on the table. So we'll get both of these. And these stack for now, but once you use them on something, they will not stack. Just keep that in mind. Alright, so we're just going to set up an elevator. We're just going to set it right... Yeah, here's fine. Now, what direction this little green part is facing right here, that's the direction the elevator is actually going to, like, center on and build off of and work from. So, I messed up the placement on that one. So your platform needs to be in front of that spot on there. The elevator will require power. It does not require much power. It really does not take much for this thing to work perfectly fine. So we're just going to throw a quantum entangler porter down. Set it to our drill power frequency. And then just throw a cable on here. Oh, it would help if I would set the power to export. There we go. And you see our elevator's powering up here. It holds a decent amount of power, honestly. There we go. And then our screen controller will also need power, but we'll get that placed in a couple minutes. I'm also going to need this. So let me have, we're just going to do, yeah, something like this should be fine. Your screen, now if you put this down, you'll notice it's on the top of the screen, it says not connected and no power. So at the moment, the screen is not powered because these are only powered by the screen controller. So let's go ahead and put the screen controller down. There we go, that's powered. And you notice it still says it's not powered. I believe, yeah, you have to come in here, right-click the screen controller, and click Scan. You'll see right now it says 1 connected screen. So now you notice we don't have that error message up here anymore. We are powered, and it works like it should. Let's just get a little bit of height on this. Yeah, we'll go right about here is fine. Same with this one. Yeah, about right there should be fine. We're going to need a little bit more height on that. So let me just put the second elevator right here. And then we'll go ahead and mine this out so I can actually see some of the stuff down here. And we just need a piece of cable up to the other elevator. Whoops. Okay. And that should be powering up. Yes, it is. And we'll also set our screen up here. Oh, not like that. There we go. Oh, why can't I... That is weird. Why can't I put that down? Okay, I don't know. But point being, it's up here now. Alright, so let me go back to the screen controller and scan again. And there we go. Now you see we have 2 connected screens. So now both of these are powered. This does have a range to it. The range on the screen controller is not infinite. So, depending on how far away your floors are from the screen controller, you might need another screen controller at a different spot. I do really like that it remotely powers these. That way you don't have to worry about, like, you know, having to get cables to all these in the walls or something. It's really handy. Okay, I don't know the maximum size you can have an elevator platform, but it's bigger than 3x3. I'm just using 3x3 for this, like, demonstration. Alright, now the trickiest part is setting up the buttons. We're just going to name this floor 1. Just right-click this to set the name. And then just leave out of there. But the trickiest thing to set up is the elevator button modules. So let me set this other one. We'll just call this 2. There we go. And now the first thing you got to do with these is you have to shift right-click the elevator floor. And that will set them to... You notice now it says here elevator at -66, 80, and -244. That's your coordinates. So this tells these buttons that it's based off the elevator that is centered on this block. It's basically where your elevator starts. So now you need to shift right-click the screen. And this will put the button in the screen, and you can now set this up. You can click this, and you can see you can have multiple buttons in here. Many, many buttons. And you can set the color in here by clicking around and playing around with this if you want. We'll just set it to blue. And then you can have the current button color is different, so we'll set that just yellow. Sure, why not? You see now it's actually got this already, 1 and 2. So if we right click 2, there we go. And now we need to set the elevator button in here, so we'll go ahead and right click this as well. And this we'll just put that in here. And we'll make this one, sure, purple and, oh, I don't know, orange. Sure, why not? And then jump out of that, and you'll see your buttons are on here as well. You can also, let me go back in here. You can also highlight this button, large buttons, and then the buttons will be slightly bigger and easier to read. And then we can just go back down. Oh, shift right click. And then click that. Yeah, so there we go. We have a working elevator. Something to note here, and I did run into this problem downstairs, but the platform will pick up. This is why I said I don't know how big these can go. But like I had, you know, my decoration downstairs is my caution frame plates were kind of like running with this and whatnot. But the problem with that is it will take, oh, it will take the matching floor blocks with it. So, yeah, I kind of ran into a problem with that when I was setting this up downstairs. And so, see, it'll just grab them and then bring them back up with it. And then you'll have the same, like, issue if you have anything that it runs into, then it'll kind of just merge with it. Yeah, it's not pretty when it starts doing this. Oh, and now those blocks are just gone. Ha! Yeah, they're gone. So yeah, on top of that, it'll destroy blocks. So yeah, you gotta make sure if you're doing decorating and you want it to not be part of the elevator, it's gotta be a different block. The way I got around that for downstairs is I used painted cobblestone. It still matched the texture, it's still connected properly, but it's not the same block, so it does not connect with the elevator. So yeah, there you go. So, it's not too hard to set one of those up. It took me a little while, a little bit of finagling, but yeah, I hope that shows you guys that it's really not too bad. And it's really cool. I really love this elevator thing. And that's really all there is to it. So let me think, is there anything else I need to cover from that? Let me take a quick walkthrough downstairs. Yeah, those two were the biggest things I know I needed to cover. No, most of the stuff we did cover already. Oh yeah, I guess I'll pull up that recipe real quick. There it is. The iron double door that we just went through, the large iron double door, this is fairly cheap. It only takes 4 iron doors, which that's just 6 iron ingots each. And that gets you 3 of them, actually, so really not too bad. But, yeah, that's how you make that door right there. I don't think there was much else. We went through the elevator. Oh, yes, the fan blocks. I said I was going to talk about why these things were kind of finicky. So let me just mine one of these out to give you an idea. I'm supposed to have 9. Oh, there it is. So the thing with the fan blocks, what shows up on them is actually determined by their coordinates, the way it's programmed. So it doesn't matter where, like, how do I say this? You can't change what shape you get just by changing your position or anything else. So this will always be a corner. And then if you go over a couple more, right here, for instance, this will also be a corner. So they're 3 wide. They will always work in 3 wide patterns. So you can see we have the bottom of 3 fans right there, even though they're on different layers and different, like, coordinates per se. So the problem with that is, in order to get a shape that's, like, actually your fan in the spots that you want. You just have to hope that it lines up with the coordinates properly. That's why I could not get these on the other walls like I wanted, because they weren't lined up properly. So like, for instance, one of the spots I was looking at doing was somewhere over here. But in order for this spot to work, I needed the middle of the fan right here. And it's not the middle, it's like the right edge. So, yeah, that spot didn't work. I had the same issue kind of back here. It's like, oh, I could put one here, but then, like, the height was wrong back here. Because, see, like, now the top of the fan is touching the ceiling. It needed to be, like, one block lower. So, I love these blocks for how they look when they're fully built, but the problem that they're constrained by being tied to that specific block makes it kind of an issue. I think we had pretty much the same problems over here that, yes, like, see, this is the left border. This needs to be the middle if I was going to set one here. But, yeah, no way you can change that, but still. When you do get them to work, they do work quite nicely. There we go. So, I just settled that I got those 3. That's all I really needed out of that. Okay, and then the drill room. I don't think there was anything in the drill room to show off. No, I don't think there was. So, this ended up being a little bit longer than I thought it would be for a short little supplement episode. But still, glad I got to show you guys this. If you all have any questions about anything else from this, just let me know and I'd be happy to answer as best I can. But in the meantime, thank you all very much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, and I will see you guys next time in a few weeks once I get back from my little break from this. So, have a good one.